Hello and welcome to So Farscape,
a fun-filled Farscape fancast by a fervent fan
and a frankly fascinated first-timer.
I'm Kaki.
I'm Kay, and this is the story So Farscape.
Our story of Earth finally concludes as we settle into Season 4, Episode 13, Terra Firma.
Yes, so, does it conclude? We don't know
You know
yet.
how Farscape is. Like, they just, if there's a plot line, you spend a little bit of time with it, and then you just move on.
Okay, so next week we're just going to start somewhere off in the terrified territories again, and then, what happened to that whole Earth thing? Oh, yeah, we left.
I got bored.
What about Kozu and Scorpius' little suicide pact that they have going?
No, I just got bored.
Yeah.
Yeah, like ask Chiana.
Yeah, well, that's it.
How was NASA? I don't know, got bored.
Yeah. She did try to get a little bit entertaining going at some point. But, yes.
Everybody was recreating.
Everybody was recreating. Anyway.
Yeah, so how was that?
Oh, different. Different, very much different. One of my notes earlier on in the episodes, this doesn't feel like a Farscape episode, which is kind of what I predicted if they were to go to Earth, then it wouldn't feel like Farscape anymore.
Yeah.
And I got a lot of that feeling of those vibes in this episode. It was more like Days of Our Lives rather than Farscape.
Especially if it's filmed in a suburb of Sydney.
Right, and there's lots of drama, will they, won't they? There's been a lot of that been going on anyway, but now it gets even more complicated. So yeah, Days of Our Lives.
This time with actual communication.
Yes, but it's Australians. They can't stop themselves. They have to make shows like that.
Yes, for me it was Neighbours. Growing up with my mother, who was super into certain soap operas, and yes, Neighbours. Everybody's good.
Is that an Australian one?
I think so. Like they went to the Milk Bar and stuff like that.
So you've got EastEnders and Coronation Street,
yes,
which are the two UK ones, and you've got Dallas and Dynasty.
Yeah, then you had The Bold and the Beautiful for a while. Oh, that was my boyfriend's mum and sister were super into The Bold, where everybody was named after things. You had Forest and River and Brook and Table and Dentist, Chair. And
Clearly, I should watch this.
No, it's brilliant. Anyway, let's see what our listeners have to say about Season 4, Episode 13, Terra Firma, Part 3 of an unnamed trilogy.
Dorothy returns home, but this dream come true is ruined by a nightmare in green sent to torture and murder friends and family in an attempt to gain the wormhole information. Thank you, Marky See. Oh, Marky See.
In the 2000s, extremely the 2000s, Farscape comes after the Bush administration. Thank you, Mysterytour. And in fact, thank you, Mysterytour, again, because the submission form doesn't actually send you like a confirmation email that you've sent something in, so people sometimes forget that they've already done it, so we get extras.
Because Aeryn and Sikozu interrupt a girl-boss meeting. Meanwhile, Chiana and Noranti help out by having a gay off. Thank you, Mysterytour.
I don't know exactly what this is referring to.
Gay off, we might come across it if we look at the Jeeves.
Oh, yes, definitely, let's do that. So this one aired Monday, the 6th of January, 2003, so it was in the sort of Christmas seasoning, and hence, David Kemper talked about, we wanted to do a Christmas episode, Farscape style, so we'd blow everything up.
Fair.
Yeah.
There was certainly enough blowing up going on.
And you're quite right about... Oh, yes, hello. Hey, there was no sign of Pilot.
No, he was mentioned.
Yeah.
Where's that pilot you told me about?
I'll show you.
That Jack was going to take Bobby to see Pilot. No, the other way.
And we don't get to see him. And Chiana had some Christmas gifts brought over to Pilot.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Oh,
but we didn't actually see Pilot, no. Maybe he was in maintenance or puppet.
Sort of huffy.
Well, maybe. You're all... Well, he has been quite huffy recently, but I can't imagine he'd be huffy because they're all down on the planet and he's not, because, that's kind of his existence,
Maybe during the 42-day wait for Crichton to appear, he and the DRDs learned about DND after a slight misunderstanding, and they're just deep into a 6-month campaign. Just keep the Cheetos and Mountain Dew coming.
That sounds like the kind of thing that a couple of pilots amongst themselves would be doing,
Yes, on their secret FTL communication network that never fails, but is only used for gossip and their long-term role-playing campaigns.
So there's a quick little flashback, just to summarize the story so far.
Very good.
And we end up back at the cliffhanger from last episode with John pointing a gun at his father. He never does get an answer to whether it was trout or bass, does he?
Was it a bass or a trout?
No, because Sikozu steps in. Don't be stupid.
They are not imposters. DRD scans confirm they are of your species.
It's me, son.
It's your dad.
Yes.
We've been here for 40 days and the DRDs confirmed that they are humans.
Yes. I found Sikozu acting a little bit different. I mean, she's changed.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's getting into her own swing of things. And she's definitely acting different. Differently.
I remember being fonder of Sikozu than I am this time around.
Right, yeah.
Because she just doesn't care about the crew.
No.
I think. Like, she's sort of integrated. She's explored everyone. She's established some relationship, but she's decided, these people are not for me.
No. She's completely enthralled by Scorpius.
I think he's the reason that she stays around and she didn't, stick on that planet with the beehive hair.
How'd you get up here? We sent a shuttle to open up communications. Everyone at IASA had a coronary when she answered, finally. In English.
Welcome to IASA, and thank you for coming, and everything's fine, and we love having you here, and we will be happy to take all your technology.
Yeah. All of this is sort of condensed in the guise of T.R. Holt.
I am T.R. Holt, Special Advisor to the President.
Is that the government guy?
Yes, he's the suit. Don't you love someone who introduces themselves with their initials? John even remarks, well, TR, you're in for a treat. And God, didn't he try hard on his American accent?
Oh, yes.
There's obviously Australian actor, sure.
Congratulations. You have accomplished something truly momentous. Earth's first contact with extraterrestrial life.
He sure did try, didn't he?
He did. To varying success, I would say. It's a little bit more obvious at some points than the others.
But he sort of correctly embodies this kind of selfishness on the part of the United States government because, this is extremely 2000s, establishing that John has changed enormously in ways that he can't express.
Yeah.
But also the United States has changed in ways that he, having left in 1999...
couldn't really...
Because by this time, this is, established to be taking place in 2003, I think.
Okay.
So, they've lived with the post-9/11 war on terror, the renewed xenophobia.
We're not allowed to bring nail clippers onto planes anymore. We have to take our shoes off.
Yeah, the whole security theater. They've lived with that long enough for it to be, the new reality for their culture. And so there's just this huge divide between them. But before we delve into that too much, I kind of love how people are introduced to aliens. Because that's the part I've been looking forward to. When you do a space show and, zapped away from Earth and now he gets to come back and show off all these wonders, like in the opening credits, the wonders that I've seen.
Yes, and he actually waits a little bit to let Dargo and Chiana and even Aeryn come out of the shuttle after people come aboard.
I kind of love that he tells TR, hey...
Today's your lucky day.
And the two people who calls in to impress the people with their alienness are...
Dargo!
Okay, yeah, absolutely. And Aeryn, who is indistinguishable from a human. Oh, yes, and also Chiana and also Rigel.
Rigel, especially Rigel comes in.
Good God.
He just really wants to show off his partner that he's sort of denying.
After the credits, everybody's on Earth.
Earth. Terra Firma. Seems forever it's filled my thoughts, been my goal. And now, I'm here. Family, friends. Seeing them again is so normal.
Okay, so the first 5 minutes of the episode feel really weird because they're doing just weird shots of the neighborhood and John is voiceovering what is going on. It's a very peculiar way of showing how this whole setup is going to happen.
Yeah, because weeks have passed and it's being narrated by John, which was an idea of Ben Browder. Originally, there was going to be intercut with John recording directly to camera,
right?
Like he was being interviewed or something. And then Ben suggested, what if we do a voiceover and then you can have it intercut with the actual clips? He's sitting on the dock on his own.
Yes, writing in a wormhole script in his diary. Or his notes book, I don't know. I love how Granny immediately starts snacking on the flowers when they walk into the...
Yes! Everybody just assumes that flowers are food.
Yeah, I guess so. It's like, oh yeah, very good. Sikozu doesn't like apples, apparently. Probably too sweet, I don't know.
I've no idea, but they all try something, and obviously Rigel's happy as a clam.
Oh, Rigel is like, he is pigging out the entire episode. He's like, there's not a shot when hasn't got food around him, almost.
And Noranti's really sort of enabling him, like, here, try this, open your mouth. And then she just upends this gigantic bucket
of popcorn, unpopped popcorn.
Another delicacy.
They're the happiest of the crew. They're in gastro heaven.
What's it called?
It's called cop porn.
Unpopped cop porn.
Yes, I heard that one too.
John's reunited with DK.
John, you're alive.
DK, when did that happen?
2 years ago, married on a boat in Naples. I wish he could have been there.
You said he was a geek.
He is a geek.
No won her over anyway.
And a bunch of the other geeks, one of whom he's married since, Laura.
Yes. A couple of humans, the more hanger shots, they demonstrates the guns. Dargo is talking in Dargo speak to some military guy, I think.
I under strict supervision.
Senator.
Senator even, yeah.
Yeah, some of the VIPs have accepted translator microbes.
Right.
So it seems like Dargo's taking the lead on talking to the uppity-ups, in particular because, like, he's in control of Lola.
Yeah.
And she's the most powerful weapon system that the Earth has ever seen.
Yes, would be, yeah.
With Aeryn's Prowler coming in a close second, so he later on mentions, like, I made sure that nobody got too close.
Yes, although he does have to zap a scientist who gets a little bit too close. So it kind of... Okay, so let's get this out of the way, because I found it a little bit weird. I mean, I can understand why they did it like this, but it seems unlikely that the US military just didn't immediately. We seize everything, we pull you away, we throw the aliens into...
Why aren't they in Gitmo?
Yeah, exactly.
Like day one, like how did this happen?
Because no way they would be this open and friendly and letting them come and go and leave and blaze, because, they would be like, okay, this is a national security thing. There is no bloody way that we're going to... allow anybody to look at this, even our own people.
I felt the same way because I think like Battlestar Galactica was just around the corner when this was airing. So you could totally imagine that. Then again, maybe it's a PR thing because Moya is definitely visible from Earth.
Very good point. Yes.
So everyone with a telescope, the size is clearly visible.
Anybody would find it quite easy to get somewhat accurate photos of Moya. I mean, she's far bigger than the ISS, and you get half-decent pictures of that taken with ground telescopes that people have in their backyard. So,
and if the first contact was a shuttle mission, which it's not clear whether Jack was on board. I think probably not.
How else would he have gotten up to the Moya?
Sikozu might have gotten to come down with a pod.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Because there's also like 2 FBI agents and a suit from the White House.
IASA, from the White House, yes.
Yeah, Jack is from IASA, but you wouldn't imagine that any of those would be rated for space travel.
No, fair point.
Or that IASA would clear them for being pulverized, which is essentially what a shuttle launch is.
Yeah.
Recreational scientific pulverizing. The aliens are put up in a gilded cage in the form of a beachfront mansion.
Which, with the entire block cordoned off and reporters trying to harass their way in and just being held back by a few police officers. John's little brother is showing...
Cousin
cousin is showing great interest in the assets of the girls.
Bobby is totally fascinated by the ETs.
Oh, she is in her, what is it, orange bikini? It looks different on his...
I'd call it red, but it looks very different in different shots.
See, it's because in his VHS recorder, it looks, or camcorder.
Yeah.
Looks a bit bluer. I swear, I have seen a clip of Bobby filming Sikozu, and I don't know whether it's a deleted scene. I wasn't able to find it quickly in my research, or whether it was maybe a promo clip.
Right.
And it's him following Sikozu through this mansion while she holds this incredibly incisive monologue on capitalism.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to try and find it. If I can, it'll be here.
Sikozu, what are you reading?
Your planet's history.
What do you think?
Going back dozens of centuries, there is a pattern, and it is appalling. replete with missed opportunities for meaningful knowledge assimilation and cultural advancement.
We have a saying. Those who don't learn from the past are doomed to repeat it. Is that what you mean?
If you are aware of a problem, why is it not corrected?
I'm only 13. I haven't had my chance yet.
From simple miscalculations to gross ineptitude, savagery and brutality without purpose and with minimal gain.
Well, people fight for land, power, honor, and money. Isn't that the same where you're from?
Where I come from, Bobby, it is very rarely the strong who will attack the weak. The aggressors are those who feel slighted, those who have gone without.
But how do you stop that?
You simply redistribute resources so everyone's needs are accounted for.
Communism.
Ah, Marx. I have read your Marx. Your application was accompanied by oppression and isolation. No chance of success.
I heard you guys weren't so perfect either. You fight wars. Big wars.
But never against ourselves, Bobby. An enlightened planet is a unified planet. And I've read your history, and I have not found anything to indicate any hope of future change.
Uncle John said your people were enslaved by some really bad dudes.
Your point?
Don't take it out on us. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
Seeing the world as narrowly as you do through this little lens, young one, I will forgive you your lack of understanding. Allow me to be clearer. The political complications that may arise from a simple wormhole floating in your atmosphere will devastate a planet that is still in the throes of intra-species chaos.
And otherwise, you'll just hear this sigh of disappointment.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Here's the scene where Granny Noranti is feeding more food to Rigel, who is absolutely loving it on Earth because he gets to eat and eat and eat.
I wonder if Fiona Gentle sort of likes or hates these scenes where people interact with food with Rigel, because she probably has to pick all the corn husks out of the puppet afterward.
Oh, I'm sure that's the puppeteer's job. We get to see the parking lot again.
Yeah, this is Olympic
Stadium
Park again.
Yeah.
At least in one of the shots, like they CGI'd a shuttle launch platform into the background.
Yes.
Which is cool. More conversations with T.R. Holt.
But T.R. Holt,
I have
he
serious
is not happy.
About, what are we doing? What are we giving?
I found it hard to keep track because his accent was so distracting.
Oh, yes. Well, basically, they're talking about sharing the technology with the rest of Earth. That's where a lot of the discussion comes about. And at first, Jack is very much on the we're going to keep it for ourselves front.
Quote, the Farscape project was and is an American initiative. I do not think it is unfair that America should reap the first benefits of it.
Yeah, what big-hearted patriot said that?
Former astronaut by the name of Jack Crichton. Did you know that we're making him my ass's project director for extraterrestrial studies? Father and son. Dynamite PR. Jack is just so happy to be making a contribution. Don't screw it up for him.
Which surprises John.
John, yes, until Jack explains about 9/11 and that, things have changed.
Space travel was your dream to unite mankind. When did that change?
September the 11th. This isn't the same world you left 4 years ago, son. People don't dream like they used to. It's about survival now.
Whose survival?
And interesting thing is that, everybody keeps saying that other people are saying that someone has changed, but they never say it straight to each other's face.
Yeah, good point.
It's always his sister says, oh, he's changed, and then Aeryn says, he says his father's changed as well. It's they're always it's always whisper, not Chinese whispers, but they're always talking about other people saying that that people have changed.
I mean, Aeryn would be the one to sort of notice that because, she didn't know John before coming aboard. She evolved together with him.
Yes, very much so. So to her, John is just John.
And she hasn't known Jack, actual Jack, before. It must be confusing since she knew the alien impersonating Jack.
Very much so. We get to the end of the voiceover part. Turns out it's a run-up to Christmas. Which makes
in
sense, because
Florida.
it was recently Thanksgiving, so we know exactly how much time has passed. Sorry, not Thanksgiving, Halloween.
Sorry, it was recently Halloween in 1977.
Oh, yeah.
Or 80, whatever it was.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Sorry, time travel, damn it. I was going to say, we know exactly how much time passed, but no, we don't.
Nice try. Well, wormholes do a bit of time dilation. It's no big deal.
Yeah.
Wormhole's unstable. Some time dilation may have occurred.
But yeah, despite the fact that it's Florida and that the whole street is cordoned off, I mean, John makes the good observation. Jack is trying to normalize the world.
Yes.
All right, time for light test. T-minus 5.
Dad's world is upside down. So he's trying to make it right side up by putting up Christmas decorations.
Great.
So
Especially for him.
we're doing our standard Christmas, like we're decorating the entire house and we're doing gifts and everything. And who shows up? None other than John's old girlfriend.
Yeah, who just helps herself to some mistletoe and
Yes.
snog.
Welcome back to Terra Firma.
And Aeryn observes she's got a really wonderful sort of literally shit-eating grin. I think that's the definition of shit-eating grin, as she tries to get into the spirit of things, because it's nostalgia town.
Yeah.
Which John is at first really into, with his sister Olivia and his dad hanging up decorations. And, see this one, you made this one. Your
Yes.
Mum loved it. And what's next? The bare-ass...
Bare-ass baby pictures, yeah.
Let's take a vote. Aaron? Yeah, of course, I'm in.
No, we're not. You're not looking at my bare ass.
Yes, we are.
Why not? I've seen it already.
Yeah, true.
And it ends with Caroline on the bridge.
Yes, the
Oh,
jetty.
sorry, the jetty, yeah.
Yeah.
And
She's
John's not super into it.
No, she's clearly willing to pick up where they left off, but John is John has changed.
And he's just picking out on the sofa, offers some popcorn to his dad. They have that conversation about, like, to John, it's obvious Earth has to unify, has to learn about this together.
And Dad's like, no, we must keep it for ourselves.
And they have this sort of very American Hollywood conflict about who is the most stubborn, as if
Yes.
as if stubbornness itself is a quality that, on one side, people are critical of, but also know that it's a virtue.
I mean,
I've never gotten
it's
that.
only good if you're right.
Oh, yeah, good point. Oh, that reminds me, in Star Trek Discovery, main character Michael Burnham and her mother are trying to convince Captain Pike in Season 2 of doing something, and, like, Captain interrupts Michael and asks her mother, was she always this bossy? And without missing a beat, she goes, on Vulcan, we call that determination. And yes, she gets that from me.
Yeah. But it's fine to be stubborn, but only if you end up being right about it. Otherwise, you were just being stubborn.
We visit Moya.
Yes, where the green meanie is creeping around.
Creature called Screeth.
Yes,
Painted green to represent the Grinch.
fair enough.
Yeah, that was exactly the decision that they made. Fantastic creature design. Looks sort of like a mantis.
A little bit, yeah. It's got the arm blades thingies going on and this weird protruding mouth.
Oh, those translucent sort of blades. They're amazing.
Yeah.
Played by, I think, pronounced Amy Salas. She also played Tauza, the female Scarron who tortured young Scorpius.
Oh, right.
In Season 3's Meltdown.
Who has been set aboard to get information by, what's her name again? Gyoza. No,
Razor, but yes,
Razor.
we're calling her Commandant Gyoza from now on. I love it.
I must be hungry.
John has brought a miracle cure for rusty old 1812, which is, I guess...
WD-40.
Right?
Yeah, like... he gets a little spray, he gets introduced to Bobby and his dad and gets sent out. They want to go exploring.
Meet Pilot, which we never get to see.
Yes.
1812, this is Bobby. Bobby, this is 1812. 1812 is going to be your tour guide. Don't let him break anything.
I won't break anything.
But,
I wonder if Pilot has dressed up for the occasion.
oh, as what?
Like, either as
You
something
need a
that
damn
he
big
thinks...
Christmas hat.
Either as something that he thinks is weird. I love the idea of him in Christmas hat. Hold on, I'm giving up on my bullshit and I'm joining yours now. Yes. He would have loved to decorate himself.
Probably, yes.
Hang little jingle bells.
John and Dargo have a little get-together, and at this point I think I've written down, is John going to take his toys and leave? And yes, he is. That's like almost immediately in the next scene we get this idea of them going like, yeah, we're probably going to have to go. This is where it starts gelling that they can't can't give this stuff to Earth if this is the way that the US is going to treat it.
Don't look at me like that. You know how paranoid my planet is.
Yeah, they don't like aliens.
They don't like anybody.
I'm glad to see you taking a positive approach.
Cooperation, teamwork, distraction. We give them a few hints, and we get the hell out of Dodge and hope they get their act together before the real space monsters show up.
Which is an interesting sort of structure, because this is a conversation with Dargo that is split over, I think, 3 scenes. I think the last one takes place at the IASA Christmas party.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like their plan to leave.
Yes.
And obviously John has to convince Dargo of this, to stay or leave, because Dargo is the captain of Moya. But John's specific strategy is to like give them some hints, but not too much. Let them figure stuff out on their own, and then get the hell out of there, because his presence is painting a bullseye on the planet.
Delay their research, just keep them stringing. He likes the fact that they're bickering at this point actually about what to do, because that allows him to buy time.
Oh, yeah, good
And
point.
later on we get his colleague scientists are starting to get wise to his BS, and they're going like, oh, wait, hang on, you're not helping.
No, you're actually smart.
Yeah.
This should fascinate you, and has fascinated you.
Yeah.
So,
and he's playing dumb, I don't know, I didn't make it, I just bolted it on,
Yeah.
Those are the Moya components, I suppose.
Yeah, yes, the Hetch drive.
Right.
Calls it FTL. That's theoretically impossible.
Theory's wrong.
All this crap you've tacked on.
Hetch drive. FTL.
Can't work.
Theoretically impossible.
Theory is wrong. Newton, Einstein, Hawking, we prove them wrong every time we pop out for groceries.
Then tell us how it works.
I didn't design a DK, I just installed it. That's for you to figure out.
Sure, drop it in our laps. Let us scratch our heads and look stupid while you go on Nightline or have lunch with the president.
We need some help. We're Neanderthals trying to understand 747s.
These new laptops are really nice.
The other thing that we get to see is the start of a conversation that happens with Aeryn, which is where she sort of suggests, well, maybe I shouldn't take my prowler back down. Like, what do you think I should do?
Yeah, maybe I should stay here.
Should I stay or should I go?
Yes.
And she wants it to be... She's asking him what he wants, and he says, it's your decision.
Yes.
Whatever, it's up to you.
It's up to me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's up to you.
But he says it in a very sort of dispassionate fashion, and that's not what she wants.
No. I mean, we get that conversation later on down on Earth again.
Yeah.
And of course, it still doesn't get resolved, but we'll get to that.
I thought it was very good that she asked.
Oh, yes.
Right?
I mean, she's clearly, making her intent known at this point. Like, it's gone a little bit the other way around. It's like she is like now clearly signaling yes, and he is still not convinced. He's like keeping the boat off, as we say in Dutch.
Well, he hasn't forgiven her for leaving.
Yeah.
Essentially abandoning him, and I guess he doesn't want to risk being abandoned again.
Yeah, that makes sense. We get a good shot of the green critter.
Yes, sneaking and hiding.
Yes, who gets to communicate with Grazer. By means of a little weird forehead sticking thing that Braca gets on his head.
I love how it was lampshaded. Like, what is that, Mom?
An explanation would be pointless. You'd retain no memory of it.
Here we go. Slap it on your forehead.
Yeah.
I think in the dial, in the script, it was called a larnaps.
Yeah.
And it's either a component of Screeth's body that they can separate, or some sort of symbiotic thing, but it allows sort of telepathic communication over vast distances.
Yes.
And David Franklin becomes a conduit for the mind of the otherwise speechless Screeth. Apparently, like, he hadn't decided on an accent or whatever until the scene started and he opened his mouth. And he was honestly quite surprised.
Okay.
Crichton is on board, Moya. According to reports, Moya now orbits Crichton's home planet.
Yeah, it's like, fairly high-pitched voice. So it's actually him doing the talking.
Yeah, it sounds like a woman's voice processed.
That's what that's what I thought as well. But
I think it's really interesting how Grazer speaks to Screeth, because she's like getting a mission report, but there's a great sort of sense of mutual trust and a good bit more, or I would say actually less manufactured conflict than she usually projects to other people that she speaks with.
Right, yeah.
So what I mean, she's very guarded, she's very verbally violent, like dismissing people, snapping them down.
Yes.
And she doesn't do that with Screeth. She takes whatever it tells him. Her
actually listens to their advice and I won't say negotiates, but argues a little bit about the merits of the how to proceed.
Allowing me to interrogate Crichton will yield quicker answers.
Crichton has already proven himself to be immune to several forms of interrogation. Stay hidden until we know more. Understood?
Understood.
I mean, she is the commander, so she sets the priorities, but...
Right.
When Screed says this, what the possibilities are, well, I'm forced to agree.
Yeah.
And to adjust the strategy accordingly. And then after she hangs up...
yes.
Braca doesn't know what happened.
Falls down. She makes him think that they've been recreating.
And he did a very good job.
Good boy.
Good boy. Now back to work. Okay. God, Braca. This is not the first time that one of these tricks was pulled on Braca, was it?
Ooh. I can't remember. When else would he have done that?
It just seems so familiar. But then again, I have seen the series before.
Fair point. Yes, this is a more conversation between John and Dargo about the merits of leaving and the merits of staying.
Should I stay or should I go? Aeryn takes Jack on a magic carpet ride.
Yep, they go do a little loop around Saturn.
Yeah, they talk about that they did the divide and that they beat the Cassini probe.
Yes.
By a while.
Because that would have been underway at that point, but not yet arrived. So he was, I'm the furthest human away from it. Well.
No,
John's,
okay.
John's got a few more miles on me. And there's a little heart-to-heart between Jack and Aeryn.
If I didn't know better, I'd think you were human.
I'm not.
Do you wish you were?
Why do you ask?
You have feelings for John, don't you?
Does that shock you?
No. I suppose it might if I thought of you as an alien life form, but I don't. John has not said anything to me, but I believe he has feelings for you too.
He did. Now
he's home. That's one of the things he's going to have to sort out. Just give him time.
I really liked that.
Yes.
Like, he's detected that she has feelings for him.
Yeah.
And her first question is, does that shock you? Because she's used to, like, reproductive xenophobia.
Right, yes.
Right? She was shocked at the idea that Dargo had a child with a Sebastian woman.
Jack seems to be encouraging her, I suppose.
Yeah, there is still a bit of sort of quasi-bigotry there. Like, I might be shocked if I thought of you as an alien, but I don't.
Right,
but she is.
She is, but
she just happens to be passing.
But they also talk about her suspicions that humans and Sebastians might be, related in some sort of way, and that, like he says, that the geneticists are still working on that. And I'm like, if Sikozu could find out that they're actual real humans, that the genetics check out, then she could do some research against that as well, couldn't she? But
maybe, I don't know, sciencey,
yes. This is the shot of Chiana doing the Christmas gift wrapping, which is the package which goes to
yes,
and Sikozu seemingly talking to a reporter or something on a phone and getting angry with them.
Yes, rejecting or maybe it's some scientist, because she's saying, "No, I will not be probed. I will not be scanned. I will not have an X-ray."
Yes,
I don't care if the others have agreed.
Not me.
Biologic examination? I said no, and I don't care how many of the others have consented. You can go stick your probes in one of them. I'm not interested.
And Rigel's just happy as a clam because he's got hamburgers and he suggests that she eats
burgers
something.
And colanolaw. And there's just piles of chips and Doritos and everywhere.
Always popcorn. Pop this time.
And Noranti found a sing-along Christmas card.
Yep.
Where they all sort of try their English.
Kind of making it, kind of mangling the song.
Hark the hereward angle singer, glory to the nude boat kinga, peach on herb and murky millet, go dancing, 'cause reconciled.
I like how Chiana is sort of sitting there. She's listening very intently, and she knows like a few of the words, and she tries to imitate those. Like she's just going for it.
Chiana's having a whale of a time, I think, although she does get a little bit bored towards the end.
Yeah, because people are kind of boring.
Yeah, but I think that's a really fun scene. Yeah, this is more Jack and John.
Holt is still fighting me on the tech sharing plan and the Explorer selection process. I could use a little support.
I've always supported you as much as I could, son. You're not looking at the bigger picture here.
You don't see the big picture. You can't conceive of it.
These scenes at IASA, I just think are great. Like, yes, summarizing them is not as much fun for us to do because the conflict is clear.
Yeah.
And they're developing it.
There's not a lot to talk about. It's like...
Nobody's got weird hair. There's nothing like exploding. Nobody's detaching body parts.
They're basically dragging out the emotional conflict. And that's what I said. That's why I got this like Days of Our Lives feeling from this episode. There's a lot of...
It's... For Ben Browder, it's one of his favorite episodes of season 4 and like the whole show because it's such a big swing. Like going to Earth. Okay, we do Kansas then. Yes, it's Earth, but it's kind of wild. Okay, now we're at Earth, and now we're just going to... Space shows go to Earth to die, right?
Yes.
It's a science fiction trope.
Yeah.
And Farscape has been to Earth 4 times now.
Right, yeah.
Earth quotation marks and
this is the
and
first
actual Earth.
real Earth.
And then to take this big swing to, yes, this science fiction is now just dead. This is a sci-fi free episode almost.
Well, aside from the spaceships and the guns and the aliens.
And to me, it really works. Because this is what it feels like for John as well.
Oh, yeah.
This is not the life that we've been used to for these last 3 years.
I guess that's when I say it doesn't feel like Farscape. It's because it's not anymore. This is, not Farscape, really.
And that's such a bold creative choice.
Very much so. I mean, very much more than the previous episode, which was on Earth, which did feel like Farscape, because that was a time travel episode. We have to get the timeline ready, which is something that is completely glossed over. Apparently, this is the right timeline because no changing things back is mentioned anymore. Like we're just assuming that whatever needed fixing was fixed, and
well, I mean, if it didn't, then Jack Crichton would have gone up with the Challenger. Gone up.
Right, I suppose so, yeah. So the fact that Jack is there means that things got turned around well enough to be the way they should be.
And that's what Einstein and Scorpius before him said, that time, there is elasticity to time, and if you nudge those things back together. But hey, speaking of the last episode, what were your kind of expectations going into this episode? Because it ended with the hangar shot with Jack and the suits.
Well, I kind of was still thinking that there would be more time wormhole stuff because I didn't catch because at the end of last episode, we don't get to learn that they've been on board there for a few weeks already. We just get the shot with the human standing there waiting for them.
Is it Bass or Trout?
Right. Yeah. So I was still kind of expecting that we were going to have more fixing the timeline stuff, and this episode went a completely different direction.
Oh, interesting. Then let me ask, as the episode progressed, did you think that they would stay on Earth for longer?
Oh.
Or that Earth would become part of the series? Or...
No, I don't think so. Like I said, fairly on, I've got written down, is John going to take his toys and leave? And then immediately the next scene, he has that conversation with Dargo. That happened, and I'm just like, oh, yes, yes, he totally is. Which means it's going to be about, how is this going to resolve? Is the government going to try to make a grab for it? Which they kind of do.
The Joint Chiefs are up in arms. They want to classify the alien technology as a national security risk and impound it.
But then they get kind of thwarted by Jack.
John insists that we share these wonders with the rest of the world. But some people are afraid of what'll happen if we do. John's afraid of what'll happen if we don't. And I'll go with that. So, as IASA's project director for extraterrestrial studies, I hereby invite all nations to participate in the ongoing Farscape mission.
Although I kind of expected at the moment that Jack made his presentation that the government guy was going to go okay, that's it, lock down the place, everybody's under arrest, and because there's no way we're going to let this slip.
Yeah, that conversation between Jack and Holt, that, the government wants to seize this property. Oh, John would never allow that.
How's he going to stop them?
How's he going to stop them?
Yeah.
He handed them his gun.
Yes, showed them how to use it. I mean, they're going to run out of check on oil at some point, but...
Like, what's he going to do?
Yeah.
Anyone can fly one of those transport pods with a bit of practice, which I guess it's the practice part that
Lola might be slightly different because that's still key to Dargo's genetics.
Yeah, and the Peacekeepers never invented, passwords.
No, I guess not, no.
And she managed to nick Aeryn's prowler a few times.
Yep. But yes, we have the discussion between John and his scientist friends who are, accusing him of holding out.
Yeah, still bickering as they're being escorted by security to their car. But security doesn't help because Screeth jumps out of the boot.
Yep.
Kills the suit. Judo chops him into the trunk. Sorry, boot/trunk.
Yeah. And then jumps the two scientists and starts basically extracting information from them.
Yeah, it's horrible. I mean, all we can see is, Screeth pressing its clawed hands over their faces, but, there's blood on their faces.
Yep.
Laura and DK are screaming.
And, yes, well, later we learn that they're dead.
Plainly, not all humans have Crichton's alleged ability to resist interrogation.
They're killed at the end of this, at Grazer's request, because Screeth is reporting back via the Larnaps.
Yeah, they haven't learned anything. He hasn't given them the information yet, is what he reports.
Crichton has given no wormhole information to Earth yet.
None. That knowledge can die with Crichton.
Not until I have that knowledge.
I'm confident I can capture him, but doubt I can bring him to you.
Nor can I yet come to you. Wherever this Earth is, the journey there is obviously impractical without wormhole travel. And only Crichton can command that.
Then our best alternative is to seize him, learn what we can from him, then execute him.
I'm forced to agree.
Anything more you need from our captives?
No.
Did you get earlier on, she told the captain, get this ship ready to destroy a planet?
Yes.
Yikes.
She was prepared to go all in. The creature apparently has not been able to actually locate Earth yet. I mean, star plot it or anything.
I mean, how?
There's no star charts in the uncharted territories.
Yeah, we've been over this, haven't we? To which degree can you extrapolate your position in a 3D construct like a galaxy from one position?
Depends on how well you a map of the stars you have. I mean, this is done in Battlestar Galactica as well, when they have the constellations, which are the signs of the various tribes, and then they start talking about how they can reconstruct them, and okay, so this is how they're seen from Earth, and this kind of looks the same, and you go hang on, this one looks the same, but if we flip this one around, we know that this one's over here, we know that one's over there, now we can now we have an idea where Earth is.
But you don't know which stars or galaxies form those constellations.
That's what they say. This one looks kind of similar to what we know, and then you figure out which that gives you an idea.
Yes.
And this one looks exactly the exact opposite from what we know. So we know that this one is between us and them. And
I guess it would be easier with galaxies.
Right.
Because a lot of the stars that we see in the sky are actually galaxies.
Yes.
And they look the same from wherever you are.
Yeah, and once you get that figured out, then you can...
But there's still going to be a little bit of parallax depending on which end of the galaxy.
But that's what you use, and that's why you kind of have to twist them around and figure it out. So I'm sure that could... It depends, of course, on how large the distances are.
Mm-hmm. And in space, you can assume that those distances are large.
Yes.
I look at these pictures, and I recognize the faces, some of the places. But it's not my life. I miss her. I miss that chick. I miss him, but I can't. He's changed.
What, he's changed so much that you can't talk to him? He says exactly the same thing about you. He's changed so much, and
I have changed, and I can't tell him why.
Why not?
Because he is the director for extraterrestrial studies, and what he hears, the government hears.
There's a nice conversation between John and his sister Olivia. Where he's looking at the baby photos, and she goes, "Hey, do you want to live in the past for a bit?" He says, "Well, I've had my fill of that recently, actually."
Yeah. Yes, he's reminiscing that nobody is who they were anymore. Essentially, that's what it comes down to, this discussion.
And he's not conveying why for him. He's not talking about what's been done to him.
Well, he literally tells her that he can't tell her.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, I can't tell Dad, and I can't even tell him the reason why I can't tell.
And I think that's a really wise decision, because it's never even brought up what he isn't telling. He isn't telling that there is gigantic galactic conflict.
Yes.
Because that's not what Earth needs to hear right now.
No. And that's why he's trying to say, Earth must unify, otherwise not gonna work. But he doesn't want to worry them about, I guess if he starts talking about alien supercarriers, then they're immediately going to clamp down and
seize Moya as a weapons platform. Yeah.
Even though they don't stand a blooming chance.
And John sort of deflects a bit by sort of relating as a sibling with Olivia and pushing his finger into her forehead and doing an ET voice. That's a game that they used to play.
Oh.
Don't worry. It'll be okay.
Okay.
Trust me.
So I see we've been shopping again.
Yes.
More shopping.
More shopping.
They closed the entire mall. Aeryn has brought in some gifts for John that she's going to give him at some point.
Which is completely not mentioned ever again in the episode.
No, it's carried into the
I know, but
storage.
we never see those gifts.
Nope.
Or they might be brought on board at the end. But
yes, exactly. And then she tells Chiana, no, don't give them to John yet. Put them in
right. Chiana had a whale of a time at the mall. She's also bought loads of stuff.
Bought, quote marks, I'm sure.
Well, I'm sure that the government paid for it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that must be so disappointing for Chiana. Okay, so someone's paying for it, so he didn't steal it? Oh.
It's not fun now. It's maybe they didn't tell her they were paying for it.
Now comes my favourite scene in this whole episode, which is Aeryn and Caroline, the ex-girlfriend, talking. Because the way that they talk with each other is really, really open. And I love that this sort of quiet Cold War conflict between two women over the affection of one man is completely sidestepped by the most open, most mature conversation that anyone has in this episode.
Yeah, they're both quite clear in their intents and interests, and they're if
very
there is
respectful of each other.
And if there is any jealousy, they surely don't show it.
Yeah. And they sort of internalize, because this whole thing, she comes up as Bobby is asking her,
How long have you known John Crichton?
I met him 6 years ago.
And how long have you been his girlfriend?
And Aeryn goes,
she goes, no, cut.
Don't stop. I'm interested in the answer.
Want to tell me why you want to know?
That's fair.
And they both say that they were in a relationship.
John and I were in a relationship.
What kind of relationship?
It was complicated.
Yeah, I can imagine. Well, actually, no, I can't imagine. John and I had a much simpler one. No strings, no grand plans, just good casual times. Well, at least that's how it was before.
And it's Caroline who takes the lead in clarifying for Aeryn that
I think he's been testing himself, working out what he really wants. It's not me.
That John has been testing himself to see what he wants.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
No, you're not. You still want him, don't you?
Yes, but it doesn't matter. He doesn't want me either.
I think he does. When I asked him about you, he said there was nothing going on. He said that several times.
And Aeryn goes, well, that's bad, isn't it? Oh, honey.
you don't understand humans at all, do you?
When we say something, very often, sometimes it's to convince ourselves.
Yes. Because, in the opening credits, you also see a shot of John with his little memory gas, or whatever it is that he's inhaling, that he got from Noranti.
The lacquer, which we haven't seen him using here.
We haven't seen him using it recently at all, the last couple episodes, I think.
That's true.
It's occasionally come up, but he hasn't been huffing it really hard like he used to.
And now
but it does come up later.
We get a completely useless, amounting to nothing scene with Scorpius and Sikozu at the mouth of the
Sikozu has
wormhole.
come back with a transport pod because Scorpius has been guarding the other end of the wormhole, transmitting a signal which should help them get back.
Yeah, apparently it was quite a bumpy ride to get there.
Right. So, but how? What do you think? Did John send Sikozu? Did Sikozu just decide to take the transport pod and go check with Scorpion? Maybe get a little bit of nookie going. I don't know.
It's got to be the latter, right?
Right. Because Scorpius has very interestingly, he's like, oh yeah, I'm sitting here guarding the ship. I've kind of like been rigging it so it can blow up. So in case that things go wrong, I'll blow it up in the wormhole mouth. And that seems like, unlike Scorpius.
As a last resort, I will detonate this pod within the mouth of the wormhole. That should destabilize it.
But how will you survive?
I wouldn't survive it.
You would have a better chance of destabilization with 2 pods.
But Sikozu is into it. And then
she immediately goes like, oh, suicide pact?
Sexy suicide pact?
2 ships will blow up a wormhole, even better than 1 ship, which is like so weird. Like, why would she do or want that?
I have no idea whether this is some kind of nihilistic BDSM fantasy that they're doing together.
I guess so. I mean, you could,
which, more power to them.
If you have like a ship, 2 ships, then you could like send one into the wormhole and blow it up and then leave together on the other one. And that seems to make more sense. Although, again, the conditions under which you would blow up the wormhole would be that there's probably a command carrier there and you're not going to really escape at that point, are you?
Yeah, it'd be tricky. But yeah, this whole scene is so flirty and just a way for them to eye-frell each other.
Right, especially Sikozu.
She's absolutely moon-eyed.
Yeah. Here we get
the worst Christmas office party
ever.
That we have ever.
Yeah, Chiana's not impressed.
Miserable.
Crichton, this isn't a very fun party.
It's not supposed to be a party. It's a photo op for VIPs. Smile.
Well, can't we find a real party somewhere?
But Jack does seem to have come around to John's point of view because he starts holding his speech and he basically completely agrees with John.
Yeah.
Like this should be shared across the earth, not hoarded by the US.
Signifying like a development in the relationship between father and son that I absolutely adore.
The suit does not like this.
Is that what you're reading on his face? It's kind of placid and tough to read without
I would say
hair.
I'd say he does not like it. He does not agree with this.
But apparently the US government is entirely powerless in the face of alien technology that one person has administrative ownership of.
Right, yes.
And it would never occur to them to just relieve someone of
that ownership, yes.
That IP.
What made you change your mind?
Because I believe in you.
Means a lot. There's a few things we should talk about.
Son, it's Christmas Eve.
Right. It'll keep.
Clappy, 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 and suddenly everyone... I mean,
Chiana has to kind of be pulled away from the senator. She is about to do a little bit of office party recreating.
Boring. I mean, these scenes are huge. There's huge crowds of...
Well, huge. It's like
maybe for Farscape television budget.
I was going to say it's maybe 20 or 30 people, but
there were 20 or 30 people in the reporter scenes as well.
Right, yeah.
And we close with them heading home, John and Jack, and like Screeth, Marty McFlying along on the back of the on the back of the trunk.
Yep.
Is the trunk or is it the boot? Let's find out.
It depends on who you ask.
Aeryn drops by at Crichton's house.
Yeah, returning the clothes that
Olivia
gave them. Yes. Lent her, and she's like, oh, are you leaving? And she goes like, yeah, probably should.
She's being very honest. That she's also like, she's back in her own clothes, like, I'm just more comfortable in these.
Yes, and this is a family thing, and I don't want to interpose on that.
Well, you've got to be here tomorrow. Well, I may not be.
Yes. Oh, why not? Oh, it might be needed on Moya.
And that's not true. She's come to give John an ultimatum. You have to say it.
Yeah.
You don't have to justify it. I like that.
Yeah.
You don't have to explain why, but you have to say what you want.
We've already talked about this. It's entirely up to you.
Fine, I'll go with what you prefer. Look, I'm not trying to pressure you, John. I'm actually trying to take the pressure off. Would you be happier if I wasn't here on Earth? You don't have to justify it or explain it. Just give me an honest yes or no.
Right, that's John's rest. But we'll get to that scene.
It's coming up quite quick because Dargo's dragging Chiana away and his very sensitive nose detects...
Finds the 2 dead bodies. I mean, it should be 3, I guess, but... The
3?
the security guard.
Oh, he's still in the trunk, isn't he?
Oh, yeah. You'd thought that like they'd go missing.
Someone
they noticed
Yes.
this is like a day ago at this point that they got killed. You'd have figured out if a security guard, the two scientists can disappear for a day, but a security guard can't disappear for a day.
No, exactly.
Because they get relieved every 6 to 8 hours, and
and the party has just started, and
Right.
he's not checked in yet.
Yeah, so that
which
would
is a
be
huge security gap.
Yeah, absolutely. Back at the house, we get this is what you said. Like Aeryn confronts John.
Jack really wants her to stay, offers her a place. We can always make it stretch.
So Jack does the way I read this scene is like Aeryn is making her demands of John, let's call it that, or her ultimatum, if you want to call it that. And John is just about to decide when Jack comes walking in, pipes up, and why don't you stay?
Yeah.
Kind of taking the stinger out of the situation, but also thwarting it.
And John goes, well, why don't you give me some eggnog? And he's about to,
So John leaves, and then they are John is about to do it, about to commit, about to even kiss Aeryn, and of course, the alien
he gets
shows
plot
up.
blocked by
Yes.
Squeef.
Plot blocked, I like that.
who attacks Olivia very violently, and then Jack... I love how Jack said that, to the suit who was shadowing him. Hey, if you follow me into the living room, you're at least going to stay for a cup of eggnog.
Right, yes.
He gets a few shots off. Those gunshots sound really flat and pathetic.
Right.
Sounded like bangers.
Yeah, well, that's Foley, on the Foley department, I guess.
I guess also to make the pulse pistols sound more impressive when they get fired.
Yeah. They don't do a lot. They kind of blast Scoot off the alien until...
yes, Marky armor.
Until Aeryn gets out her pulse pistol.
Gets a few
which
shots
also
off.
doesn't do a lot.
No, but
Mostly
it does...
because she misses him.
Set the house into disarray.
Yes.
Lights are flashing. The production designers had originally hoped that they'd be able to find a house that was scheduled for demolition that they'd be allowed to completely blow up. Unfortunately, that didn't happen, but they did get to blow the hell out of this set. Because, now it's John and Aeryn. They have one pulse pistol between them. All the lights are flashing.
Yes.
The house is dark.
Aeryn engages the creature and tells John to go get Winona.
Yeah, because the Squeef bites her pulse pistol in half. So it don't work no more. John goes upstairs. The stairs are interrupted because Squeef comes through the fucking wall.
Yes. Plasterboard walls, man. What you gonna do?
Graze is getting an ongoing mission report that makes no sense.
Lots of screeching and lots of yelling. John finally gets his Winona and does a little bit of stalking around, but the creature has gone invisible again.
Both of them fall over the balustrade and onto the floor below.
And finally, Aeryn tells John to get out of the way because she shoots the chandelier, which falls down on top of the alien and presumably electrocutes him. It's a good thing that when you shoot a chandelier off the ceiling that the electrical wire is long enough to reach the ground. But, might be some Australian building code thing.
Whoa! Do you think it's a safety feature or an oversight?
Well, I think it's, again, plot, whatever the plot requires.
Look on this.
What is that?
Forget about it.
Yes.
Lola comes sort of flying through
Lola to the rescue, yes.
Over the backyard swimming pool so that when Squeef steps up again, Lola's there, Dargo's there to blast it into atoms.
With the, literally, it turns into a little blue nebula and boomf, gone.
I'm glad he's learned to sort of dial down the energy.
Yes.
And that it can, he's firing it through an open screen door in the garden. That's good aim.
Yes. This causes Braca to collapse.
He's got literal cum on his forehead now.
I think that's the gooey paste that's from the telepathic device. But he comes to, and with a little help of Graze's boob sweat, and he's like, "Oh, you were so good, darling."
I'm glad I was able to satisfy you.
Yes, still not remembering even the slightest what happened.
I wonder where they are. They're lying on a grate. There's this circular space around them. There's these... I never know what Peacekeeper rooms are for.
No. Even Command doesn't look very commandy. For all I know, it could be on the Death Star. With that big white circular thing in the bridge.
And everybody's back on Moya.
Yes, they're bringing a huge cart which is laden with food and boxes and...
Rydell says, food goes to my room.
Yep.
Dibs. Aeryn confronts Noranti.
Yes. So, hey, what's this thing?
Because, yeah. During the Screeth fight...
Oh, yes, John squirted the
lacquer into the Screeth's face.
And that was enough to get him to, I guess, forget about him for a minute.
And Aeryn immediately goes, what's that?
Yes.
Like, hey, priorities.
Yes. Confronts Noranti with him, goes like, hey, you gave this to John, what is it? And
It's to help him move on, surmount his feelings and forget.
Who?
When she finally acknowledges Aeryn, she's just moved completely past her.
Yeah.
And Aeryn goes, forget who? And then Noranti opens her third eye and it glows blue.
Yes.
Which, I think that's when she's being enigmatic, which is a lot of the time, honestly.
Yes, it is. But she works it out. She goes like, oh, is that how it is? So we're back like 2 steps forward, 3 steps back with John and Aeryn's relationship. Whenever things go right in one direction, they go wrong in the other one.
Hey, it's a seesaw, isn't it?
It is days of our lives.
Well, we have a sense of closure that soap operas tend to either avoid or sort of mitigate, which is like John talking with his sister, and she gives him
his mother's wedding ring.
I was going to give you this on Christmas.
This is Mom's. She left this to you.
I want you to have it. Mom would love that.
That she inherited from her mother.
Yes, but she now wants John to have.
Because she knows he's leaving again.
Yes.
And I guess she wants him to have something to remember their family.
Of the family by, yes. Yeah. This is immediately followed, or actually continued, with Jack as well, who is talking to John. It's like, you're leaving. I'm afraid I'm not going to see you again.
He says he doesn't want to lose him. Like, these are such a rare thing, especially in sci-fi.
Yes.
Two men, like, expressing their emotions. In this case, grief. They're both, like, fighting back tears and losing.
Right.
Look, we'll guard the wormhole. We'll set up a defense shield. Nothing will get through.
No, I have a job to do. It's your words again.
I don't want to lose you, son. I can't shake this feeling that you're not coming back.
I'll be back. That's a promise. You take care of my home.
Take care of yourself.
I remember you saying that, like, in the very first episode as well. Like, wow, a healthy father-son relationship in a TV show. And I'm like, well, of course they can have a healthy relationship because they're never going to see each other again. So it's fine that they have a good relationship because, like, we're not reliant on a bad relationship to keep the plot interesting.
Yeah. But, like...
They continue that here.
It's a beautiful bookend because it started off with be your own kind of hero. And then finishes with Jack, like... honoring that John is his own kind of hero and that Jack supports him.
Yep.
And that they love each other. Like there's a hug. He kisses his father.
Yes.
An expression of love that we don't see enough of. And then he walks away, puts his sunglasses over his red-lined eyes.
Yes, it looks very Terminator-ish in that shot, but...
Yeah, he's trying very, very hard not to look back.
I mean, I guess it's not a downer ending for an episode, but...
It is, like, emotionally tumultuous.
Yeah, very much so.
And you sort of feel the resolve and reflected in the music as he walks away.
Yeah. Oh. So, hang on. I've got a few things. I'm not done yet. So, I've got a few notes here which need to... one of them is, like, my last note is now it's become Farscape again. Like, at the end of the episode, I'm going like, okay, yeah, this did not feel at all like a Farscape episode.
Right.
But right towards the end, yes, okay, now it's starting to become Farscape once more. I guess it kind of starts when they're carting the food onto the ship.
Not when the Screeth shows up and ruins the Christmas party. And
yeah, okay,
maybe
that already. Maybe it took a little while for me to settle into that feeling.
Because it's such a break of tone.
It absolutely, yes. But the other one is like, is Grazer running a clandestine operation or not? Because she's not told anybody about this thing. She's like, I mean, she could have just
good point.
grab any ensign and stick that thing on their head and use them as a conduit.
Yeah.
But no, she specifically uses Braca and doesn't tell him about it. So is this... Yeah, I mean, I guess she's got a lot of power, that we know that. But we also know that she is beholden to even greater powers.
Whom she's trying to manipulate or convince. Because the power struggle between her and Scorpius, I don't know if she had her own command carrier at that time. Oh no, she has his command carrier now.
Right. That was destroyed.
Oh no, you're right. So she got her own.
Yeah.
Was because they had sort of rivaling policies or proposals for how to deal with the Scarran problem.
Right.
Hers was diplomacy, which requires not developing wormholes.
Right.
So they're hugely antagonistic. So in her case, she's there to ensure that wormhole weaponry doesn't enter the picture and destabilize her efforts to reach some kind of détente.
Okay, right.
So, but you're right that this may be a clandestine operation. It's not really specified. And Rebecca Riggs, the actress, she said in the visual companion book that she sort of imagined that Screeth was someone that she got on with, that they had a professional relationship, separate from or before the Peacekeepers. And that therefore Screeth was someone that she trusted with this mission, which is like a suicide mission, essentially.
Yes, although they didn't know that at the time. But yeah.
But now that
the idea was
that,
to capture John and bring him back, ideally, or kill him.
It doesn't even come up. Hey, if we kill the only person with wormhole technology, you're stuck on Earth forever.
Yeah.
That is an acceptable outcome.
Apparently so. Yeah. So Screeth has either great loyalty or is somehow otherwise,
It's
maybe
sort of like M and 007.
Oh, I suppose, yes.
Kind of in a weird sort of...
Yes, I see what you mean.
Praying mantis kind of way.
James Bond looks a little more handsome than Screeth, but... yes, definitely licensed to kill, I suppose.
Oh, you could imagine Grazer being played by Judi Dench, though, can't you?
Oh, totally.
Right?
Yeah. Okay, so...
Yep.
She gives me a Woody.
She gives you the Willie.
Speaking of Judi Dench.
Oh, gosh. Willies, I'm very torn. I didn't write down anything.
It's tricky, right?
So,
because Farscape has Willies and Woodies, but this really wasn't Farscape.
I mean, no. If anything, I would say the Willie goes to the Days of Our Lives vibe that I got from the episode.
Yeah.
But even that's just tenacious that I have to name something.
That's my Woody. Honestly, I loved it. I love it.
Okay, fair,
I love big swings. I'd love seeing Chiana in a bikini, just enjoying the sun.
Yes,
which
even though she can't get a tan.
No, it just does nothing for her because her skin is entirely resistant to radiation. That we've discovered. My Willie actually goes to Sikozu and Scorpius, which is weird.
Okay,
because I do kind of love that scene, but it has no place here, adds nothing, doesn't come up.
No. It's just Scorpius being weird and Sikozu being even weirder.
Because even though this could establish that, Scorpius is willing to die, we have no reason to believe him when he's talking to Scorpius.
Sikozu, yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we learn nothing from that, other than that they're still eye-frelling and choke-frelling each other.
Yes. So for Woody, I'm going to... there's... To consider Noranti and Rigel and the food, those scenes are always fantastic. I really love Chiana's attempts at gift wrapping because she's clearly getting into the whole spirit of the presents, which need to be wrapped up prettily. And I think it's so nice that she take this to Pilot for me. Here's I found a present for Pilot, but that
she discovered this thing called wrapping paper. Oh, that's such a cool idea. You just have pretty stuff to put on things.
Yes, exactly.
And that makes the presents.
And you can't immediately see what's inside. So
ooh,
it's
so
just
cool.
A surprise. Yes, but my Woody will have to go to Claudia Ballac's performance in this.
Oh my God! Yes,
episode that was fantastic. Both the scenes with John's girlfriend and the scene with the scenes with John. It was just no, absolutely. That's definitely gets my Woody.
Yeah, because John had a significant challenge, or Ben Browder had a significant challenge here, playing someone who is very closed.
Yeah,
you don't really get to know why. But her challenge was to someone who is normally very closed
and open up. Yeah, so that was.
Oh, that's a very good Woody.
That's definitely it for me.
That's the story so Farscape.
Yes. Please join us next week for another Tales of the Terrible Territories, and the week after that for episode 414, Twice Shy.
In which
Oh, in which,
Did I
right, yes, in which
put it-
Chiana convinces the others to allow an imprisoned woman to stay on Moya. They quickly discover, however, that she's far more trouble than she's worth. Wow, that's never happened before.
Yeah, imagine that. Also,
but-
I have no fucking
But with their best qualities gone, can they do anything about it?
Oh, whoa.
Okay, so yes, we're getting a cold start back on Moya then, probably back in the...
Hey, do you want to make any... No, I was going to say, do you want to make any predictions? But I should have done that before we read this particular one.
Probably.
That would have been the shortest sort of reveal. But it's going to be on Earth. And back on Moya, no. Okay, fine. Thank you for listening to So Farscape. We always delight in having you join us on our trip through various wormholes and territories. You can find us at So Farscape on Facebook and Twitter, sofarscape.com. You can find all the links to our Patreon, to submit synopses, by the way. You've only got a few episodes left to go, or even a fanfic if you want to suggest those on sofarscape.com/links. I'm Kaki.
I'm Kay.
So Farscape, so good.